Hello everybody. Today I would like to walk you through the features of our WW Squeeze chute. I recently made this purchase. It's been great for us. I'll go through all the pros and cons of this particular chute versus other chutes on the market and give you my general feedback. Okay, the first and most important feature of a squeeze chute is the head gate. There's several different styles on the market. This one is a barn door style. I don't know what else you would call it, but it's considered an automatic head gate. And when you're considering a squeeze chute, you need to consider the size animal you have and what you're going to be doing with it mostly. For me, it's mostly ear tagging, and I typically mostly have calves on this property that I'm growing out to feeder size. So I wanted an automatic catch style, which is what this is. So I'm going to demonstrate that now. Mr. River, would you be so kind? Why don't you come in the chute for me? Okay. So this lever releases. I will show detail on this later, but open it up. My calves are loading in the chute now. So when you set the head gate, you want it, I like to run 1 to 2 animals through the system at a time, and when I do, I pay attention to the size of the animal and try to set the head gate so that the head clears but the shoulders will not. So with calves, there's a very small margin for that. So what we'll do is we'll set the head catch here. So Mr. Bull Calf, if you don't mind, come through. Stick your head through, so your shoulders would hit, and it closes the head gate. And when it does that, it locks it, and that's what makes this an automatic feature head gate. From there, you've got a lever here that lifts the locking mechanism so that it can either go back in, or, Mr. River, it can go back out. So it does have a hard mounted handle here. And it does open up so that you can get full pass-through of almost any size animal. You'll notice the walls on the inside are fairly narrow. Again, that's because we mostly run smaller animals, calves, that we're raising up to butcher size, not full-grown cows or bulls. So this is a very versatile squeeze chute in that respect. So it doesn't, it will work for small calves. Yes, I didn't know that was there. It will work for small calves and large bulls too, so it is adjustable. But it's best to know what size animal's coming through before you run it through.
And you gotta wash it after you use it.
Yes, after you use it, you always wash it. Okay? It does open up fully in both directions. Okay, so we'll move on to the next feature. So on the back side of the squeeze chute, we have a rear door. Now there's multiple kinds of rear doors as well, and this model squeeze chute actually comes with a sliding style gate. The cheapest version, which is what I got, has a drop gate. So there's up top there is the gate itself, and you need to be able to reach in and grab it and let it drop. And when it does, it lands on some rubber pads down here at the bottom, which we can show you in just a second. And it uses a rope to pull back up, which we'll also demonstrate in just a second.
And here's that.
Okay, once again,
Lizard.
you can see the rubber pads here that the bar lands on, and you can see there's kind of a catch that the bar slips into so that the animal can't move it back up. Okay?
Dad, there's a lizard.
And then there's a rope here that is attached to a pulley system that goes over to the driver's side of the squeeze chute. So let me show you how that operates. Okay, on both sides of the squeeze chute, step back. On both sides of the squeeze chute, you've got catches that allow the side rails to drop down and move them out of the way for the next part. So there's a rope system, like I was just saying, that has pulleys. Willow, you want to step back, please? Other way. I'm fixing to slam that up. Okay. Okay. So from the driver's side, if you give this a fast yank, can you see the gate okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes it doesn't always slide up all the way and catch. Ah, missed the pulley. That is the first time that's happened. There we go. So honest reviews here. I'm not going to edit that out. So the rope just slid out of the pulley up top here and got wedged at the pulley. You'll notice how noisy it is. I think that's probably my least favorite function of this squeeze chute. Again, it just drops. It's very noisy on the way up and the way down. So honest feedback, that's like I said, least favorite part. So there's times I don't even use it. If I have a calf that's real skittish, doesn't want to come in, if I'm chasing him up the alleyway, which I do frequently, I'll drop it slowly and quietly while holding it the whole time. I don't just yank it to get it back down. So when it's in the up position, the rope catch is actually in front of the pulley. So if you yank it again, it'll go back down. So it's pull to open and pull to close.
And it went off the pulley again.
Yeah, it's the angle I'm pulling it at. So yeah, good point. Also, over time this rope has started twisting, so that gets a little annoying too. But untying it, letting the twists come out, and then retying it would probably fix that. So I'm just being lazy. Okay. Again, these catch very, very well. They're very positive locking, positive open, and they don't really.
But they're loud.
They're noisy, but they don't really shuffle around a lot when you're using the chute. So that's another good thing. Okay. Next, we'll talk about the actual squeeze function. So let's get set up for that. Okay, the next feature I want to talk to you about is the squeeze itself. So this is how you squeeze the cow or give it a hug. You pull on this handle, which is spring loaded to keep it up out of your way. I'm 6'5" and I've never hit my head on this, so I have plenty of clearance here. If you're a tall person, this is a good chute in that respect. So when you pull down, the whole wall closes, and you might have noticed this jumped one notch. So this is a ratcheting mechanism here that you can see it ratcheting as you squeeze the animal. So the resistance that the animal applies works against the ratchet and keeps it in place, and you get quite a bit of squeeze out of it. Okay? Nothing on the handle has to reset, which is nice, and basically you can squeeze it pretty much vertical. Now that said, if you would, let's take the camera around front. Okay, so we'll demonstrate this again from another view. As you can tell, you can adjust the bottom position of the wall. We'll go over that in a second. But basically, based on the size animal you're looking at, you want to adjust the bottom so that when you hug the animal, you're not causing the animal to lean one direction or the other. So I'll demonstrate here. So with the calves we're working with, this is the setting I run it with. And that's as far as it goes, but normally the animal doesn't allow me to squeeze it that far. So the animals are big enough that we wind up stopping usually about right here. So as you can see, the angle up top where it actually cradles the belly of the animal on both sides is very much the same, and that provides even support on both sides. If you tilt the animal one way or the other, they get very uncomfortable and it makes them more upset and they want to fight you more. So having the bottom adjusted properly is very important for each animal. If you're running different size animals, if you're running a bull through and then a cow and then a couple calves and then another bull or a larger animal, you're going to want to adjust the bottom as you go. So let's look at how we do that. Okay, so now we're going to look at how we adjust the bottom, or basically the compression side of the squeeze chute. So it comes with a handle that's removable, and it has a parking location that keeps smaller cabs from wanting to come through beside the squeeze chute. That you take the flat end and stab it onto this rotating beam, and there's a ratchet mechanism here as well, similar to the one up top. So you open that up, just give it a crank to whatever size you need. So that's all the way out. So that would be if you have a very large bull, or maybe an animal with large horns. I should have marked where it was. I'll have to go back and look at the video. But it slides, it tracks very well. So that's as far as it goes with the setting I've got. So next we'll show you from the front again how much movement you actually get. Okay, this is all the way compressed for the smallest animals you've got, and I'll demonstrate how much it opens up. So again, you can kick this with your toe, whatever. I keep the area fairly clean, so I'm doing it by hand. And basically you just crank it wide open. So that's its full range of motion. But like I was saying, kids. So like I was saying, when you go to squeeze on an animal from the fully open position, that's as much squeeze as you get, and you can see how much it's leaning. So if you don't have a fat-bellied animal, you don't want to open it up quite this far. Okay, so if you have a cow that has a bad hoof issue, or if you're castrating, or if you have a calf that won't suckle and you need to trap the mom, you do have access to the bottom half of the chute as well. So you can drop the top down, or you can open up the bottom. So there's a pull pin with a spring mechanism on this cable on either side. Just give it a yank to pull it open, and it drops right down. So you can get access without having, you can get access to the upper side.
On both sides.
Like I said, it is on both sides. So you can get access to udders or whatever you need to do. Alternatively, if you need even more access, the whole thing does come out. You can pick it up and get it out of the way completely. So if you need more foot access, it's not that hard to do. Getting it back is a little trickier. There's a track that it slides down in, and then to close it back up, you just pop it back into place, and that's that. Okay. The last main feature of this squeeze chute is the swinging emergency access door. So let's say you didn't have the squeeze chute set right, and you've tilted your animal over, or if the animal is in pain, or if there's something going on and the animal decides to just lay down and can't get back up inside the chute, there is an emergency swing door on typically the right side of this chute.
Well,
so
it's going to open.
Yeah, if you don't mind standing back. There is a lockout feature through this pin, so you must pull this pin in order for it to work. Then there's a footstep on the driver's side that allows this to pop open, and it swings the whole gate open at the same time.
Can I do?
I'm going to step around and do this, so just watch here what happens. So that immediately breaks away, and this can swing open.
And you would go in.
Now this is also a handy feature for sorting purposes. So if you, for example, have a fence or a gate, okay, I'm going to close this now. So this is the trickiest part about this swinging door is you can see how much overlap there is here. You have to slam this to get it to come back in. So kids, why don't y'all step back so you don't get hurt. way, and we're going to slam this. There we go. So you can see what it takes to get it back in. But let's say you're sorting animals and you want bull calves separated from heifer calves, or you want one you're going to keep back for breeding, or whatever your purposes are. You can sort through this by having some of your animals come all the way through the chute, out the head gate, and open the swing gate, close the head chute to separate out this way. And I'll demonstrate that here. So I normally keep this gate here. This is a panel right here. So I'll chain it up. And use this for sorting, like I said. So if I have animals that I want to bring back around to load in a trailer, or run straight through to keep them separate and away from others, that's how I'll do it. Okay, I've lost my helpers. The last feature that I wanted to point out is additional. It's an add-on. You can buy these 2 bars to help with a animal that you get in the head gate. Say you need to doctor an eye or a lip or a mouth or something, or if they bite some cactus and you got to pull some thorns out, whatever trouble cows can get into. You can use these 2 bars to keep their heads stable. So what you need is just any kind of tractor pin that's the right diameter. The first bar you can drop in and it swings out, and that's not in the camera. Yeah, it is. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. So the first bar swings out, and it swings very much out of the way. So if you have some you need to doctor and some that you don't, that works just fine. The next bar doesn't have a pin, except that you can. There is a hole for a clevis pin, but I don't ever find myself needing it. What you can do is this bar slides in and goes on top of the animal's head. So you can pull down on the animal's neck or head. You can hook this chain around the front of their nose, and then this one stays over their head. And the chain is on the squeeze chute for this one. So you can essentially trap the animal's head so that you can do delicate work on the face of the animal. I have used this several times, just more playing around than anything, testing things out, for putting ear tags in. It, like the squeeze chute, just tends to keep them more calm, and everybody stays safer when the animals are calm. There are a few more features. There's like a locking feature in the head gate, but that's stuff that I don't ever tend to use, so we'll leave that out. And then lastly, the doors of the head gate can actually slide in and out. They are adjustable through pin and hole increments of certain sizes. You can adjust the top and not the bottom, or the bottom and not the top. That does work just fine. And I've got it set where I want for calves. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up, like, comment down below. This is not a paid promotion in any way. I just like the chute, and thought you guys would like to know more about it. So if you did, follow us, subscribe. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good one.